Hello, everyone. It's Shamila Ramjawan, your host on the Red Corner Show. We are celebrating the Red Corner Show's first birthday, as well as Women's Month, where we share the journeys of 31 inspirational women this month. Today, my guest on the show is Niki Cronje, who is the Vice President, Marketing, Sponsorship, and Brand at Imperial. Her role at Imperial is to deliver innovative, sustainable, high profile sponsorships, projects, and events, and to create meaningful brand connections to drive value to all stakeholders across their business. She has been instrumental in the launch of South Africa's largest road safety campaign called I Pledge. Nikki is committed to driving CSI for the Imperial brand and is also a member of the Imperial Women's Forum. Imperial has afforded Nikki the opportunity to be a key player in various youth empowerment and women empowerment programs where she changes the lives of many people. Welcome to the show, Nikki.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
It's only a pleasure. Happy Women's Month to you.
Happy Women's Month to you and all the women on the show too.
To kick off, that was quite a mouthful, Nikki, and your bio says a lot. I know so much about you, but I think it's important for you to share your journey with the audience. Please tell us a little bit about who is Nikki, your background, career, anything that you would like to share with us.
Yes, okay. Well, thank you for that introduction. I was like, oh, okay. I'm the Vice President, as you said, of Marketing, Sponsorship and Brand. But really, I started my journey with the Imperial Group about 12 years ago, and we launched the first CSI and brand positioning campaign for the group, which was I Pledge. Little did I know it would become one of South Africa's leading and largest campaigns. But I think more importantly, I've always wanted to work for a company that has a heart, and Imperial does have a heart, and it's got a passion for CSI. And it's also enabled me to go and pioneer new projects, by being on the ground, getting my hands dirty, finding out from those communities what they actually, need that we can do to make an impact. I also think it's very important, for me to basically build a brand that not only our people can resonate with, but more so employees. And I think that it comes from employees being proud, and wanting to wear that brand. And we've done this through several ways, through brand positioning campaigns. Obviously engaging with media, building the brand. But I think where I come in, it's building our brand with partnerships and with sponsorships that basically can go and amplify what we're trying to achieve. But very importantly, also share, I think, the same values, as our business and our organization. And as a career mom, I'm a single mom. I've got 3 children, 2 pregnancies. So I've got twins as well. You've got to find that balance, between life and work and home. And it's a fine balance, as a lot of us moms, and I'm sure Shamila, you'll know as well. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I think, yesterday I received good news that I'd won or was an awardee of the Inspiration Awards 2021. And I actually sat back for a second because we never have time to reflect. And I thought, well, maybe I am doing something right. Maybe having the backing of a big brand is definitely making an influence in a positive way. And then when I was awarded, or rather nominated as the secretary for the Global Women's Forum, I think this was, it was really an opportunity to empower women at the workplace and also, outside the workplace. We've now focusing on sports development, and I think that's been a very rewarding experience for me. And at the same time, I also want my children to see my passion in action. And I think it brings about lots of other opportunities for women as well. We also have secured the naming rights, I think, to the iconic Wanderers Stadium, as you may know, yes. But also now to the Central Gauteng Lions women's team, which was just amazing to be an extension of the men's team. And, talking to some of the ladies, the ladies had a dream that they wanted to be cricket players, but it was a boys' sport. So just trying to make that difference and trying to position, women in sport, I think is something we we really are taking ownership now. And then also, we've also recently partnered with G Sport, and we are committed to developing and empowering women in sport, where we are, I think at the end of the month, at the awards ceremony, we have the naming rights to the African Women in Sport Award. So looking forward to seeing some of the smiles on some of the ladies' faces across Africa at the end of the month.
Wow, that is incredible. You know, being a single mom and having your hands full, juggling all your tasks, but you're doing such incredible work. Congratulations on your global award. She Inspires Me award from the UK. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's amazing.
I was very excited.
You must be. It's such a prestigious award. Congratulations again. So, Niki, in your role at Imperial and throughout your career, where you focused heavily on community upliftment, humanitarian work, supporting healthcare and road safety initiatives, where would you say you draw your inspiration from to keep motivated to face some of the harsh realities faced by our communities, and especially women and children in our society?
Camilla, you know, we spent many days, rather many years, positioning Imperial as a good corporate citizen. We were in a position for the group to do that. We launched the I Pledge campaign with the Minister of Transport. But I think what actually changed me as a person, and what I didn't realize would change my life forever, is that I actually saw a number of children that were affected, you know, with road crashes and accidents, and were paraplegics. And there was one case that changed my life forever. And I knew that I had to do everything in my power to prevent this from happening to one more person. And, you know, humanitarian work, I mean, as you know, is heartbreaking, but it can also be incredibly rewarding as well. And the motto that's always stuck with me, and I think it was Anita Broderick, the founder of The Body Shop, was that if you think that you're too small to make an impact, then try go to bed with a mosquito, you know. And to bring it back to advertising, I mean, Johnny Walker says, keep on walking. And that's what you got to do. You just got to keep on walking. And eventually those steps become a journey. So, I mean, my passion, I think my inspiration comes from a number of the projects that we've been able to do. We started off with road safety. We evolved that to the Car Seat for Kids campaign, where we managed to collect over 9,000 car seats for those families in need. We put road safety back into the curriculum with the Department of Basic Education. Over 1.3 million learners are now being taught road safety in schools. Accenture has recently published an independent study called the Socioeconomic Impact Assessment, where 200 billion of value in the 2 years, 2019 and 20, have been created for Nigeria and South Africa alone. So those sort of things, I think, are, you know, you actually have to sit back and realize, because those are big numbers, but most importantly, those are lives that are impacted and affected. But you have to stay motivated. And I'll be honest, I mean, there's days when the road safety, it drags me down. I've seen things where I'm reduced to tears, but you have to keep motivated. You have to keep going. So I try to surround myself with very positive people, energetic people, diverse people, I suppose, that I can learn from. But, you know, you have to stay humble and kind. I always think you've got to spend time with children, because they actually keep things simple. They like simplify everything. But I think most important, be consistent, be kind, lead with influence. You never know what someone's going through. And, you know, you just don't underestimate yourself, because you are making an impact, you know, especially, as I said, when you have the backing of a big brand like Imperial.
There's just so much of inspiration that we can take from there, you know, all the keywords that you used. But just talk to me about Imperial with the initiatives. I mean, 9,000 baby car seats. I mean, that's a lot of car seats. And are we talking just South Africa, or are we talking Africa as well?
No, we're talking South Africa. So what we did is, you know, originally when we went out to road safety, we thought what projects would actually make a difference. And the reality is 8 children die on our roads every day. So it is a pandemic.
Goodness.
Yes. Everyone talks about COVID statistics. Nobody talks about road safety statistics. And when we embarked on this journey, children under the age of 3 were not protected in a vehicle. And it was through constant advocacy to the Department of Transport, the Ministers of Transport, that we actually managed to amend the Traffic Act. And it was probably my proudest moment in the career. Not that I did it myself, but it was just this constant, knocking on the door, knocking on the door. Our children are not protected, protect our most vulnerable. And they did eventually change the Traffic Act, and we collected a number of car seats with the likes of the founder of Car Seat for Kids, Peggy Mars. She herself lost her children. And it's also dealing with all these stakeholders. You realize that this does happen to people, because people always think, oh, road safety, it's not going to affect them, until it does. And then it's too late, and it devastates. I mean, it is a pandemic in itself. So, so those are the kind of things we do, only in South Africa, because we relied on the public to donate those car seats. And then Peggy would reupholster them, clean them, make sure that they were appropriate for that child's weight, not the age. Everyone says, oh, the car seats, what age does the child have to be? It's according to the weight, because that buckle actually holds the weight.
My goodness, we learn every day. Well, parents, if you're watching this, look after your loved ones, especially your children. So Niki, we know as women, we face many challenges, sometimes more than men. I'm going to emphasize that, more than men, because it's Women's Month, and I'm a woman.
Absolutely,
and you're a woman.
Absolutely.
Name at least one challenge and one success that you've achieved.
Okay, well, I mean, logistics, and in those days we used to have all the car brands as well. By nature, I think was predominantly a very male-dominated industry. Most of my colleagues were male, and they would come together and they would talk cars and talk, and I initially battled to contribute, but when we suggested we sponsored, I think it was the Top Gear Festival, and go in as the road safety partner, I think I got everybody's attention. And then as a woman, they actually put me into one of the motor vehicles with the Stig, which they thought was very funny. It was probably the most frightening time of my life. But I managed to impress all my male colleagues, and certainly it's something to talk about. But I think, as a result of gender, I actually use this to an advantage, especially when it comes to all the CSI campaigns, because, I tugged on the heartstrings, I think, of a lot of the directors who were men, and was given the opportunity to pursue a number of projects, which later actually became success stories and perhaps sometimes benchmarks in the industry, the Car Seat for Kids, introducing road safety into the curriculum. But I think as a woman, they used to throw me into, all the managing events and the leadership and staff road shows, the Christmas parties, because, I was a woman. So as a stereotype, I'm a good organizer, right? But it was actually, it was a great thing, because I mean, I love events, and I'm battling with that in COVID, but hopefully go, grow from strength.
I think I just lost you a bit there. Can you hear me clearly? Someone asked me yesterday, how do you define a woman? And I said, limitless, nurturing, selfless, authentic, and just having a voice for creating change. How would you define what it means to be a woman?
Well, for me, I think women are, to be honest. I remember having my twins. People said, how do you do it? And I said, well, I had 8 arms. And I think that's certainly worthy of celebration. I think we can do anything. We can play. I mean, I've had to play, not that we want to. I've had to play mom. I've had to play dad. Mm-hmm. I've had to be a leader in the workplace, read that storybook at night, teacher. So I think we can mold into a number of different roles, which I do embrace and I love. I think naturally women are compassionate and empathetic. And I think nurturing is a very strong instinct for women. And this has helped me to excel, I think, especially in the humanitarian, work that we do. So I'm very proud to be a woman and celebrate our strengths. Not to say that men don't have strengths; they have different strengths. Mm-hmm. And I think it's to acknowledge that as well.
That is so important. We can't leave the men out.
No, we can't.
Yes, for sure. So, Niki, you've partnered with me with the Princess D Menstrual Cup.
Yes.
It's Women's Month. We're celebrating women, and we know it's a sustainable solution. But why did you actually want to do such a project?
I didn't actually know much about the project when you approached me, but it's just an amazing initiative, Shamila. And it affects the girls out there. We're doing a number of projects at the moment with Department of Basic Education, and we've sent out a number of surveys, and it came as a shock to me how many days that the girls have to stay at home. Just not fair that they miss those opportunities. So I think it is an amazing initiative to spread that message far and wide, because no child should have to stay at home because they can't come to school, and it's very sad. And I think we need to all, as women, join forces here and really try and get the message out there, to be honest.
For sure. And what I love about Imperial is that you focus on youth empowerment as well as women empowerment. And, it's just so diverse in what you do. It's not just focusing on just one project, but you do so many different things. How do you choose your projects?
So it's really about talking to stakeholders. So we've got the Be Safe, Be Smart, for instance, road safety campaign. And then when COVID hit, the Department of Basic Education said to us, well, could we not educate children on washing their hands and being safe? So we adapted that, the Be Safe, Be Smart wellness program. But I think how we allowed to be so adaptable is that our leaders enable us to, make quick decisions on the ground that are really going to make a difference. Isha Mansing, as you know, is absolutely flexible, an amazing leader. And she's allowed us to go and basically prioritize people and prioritize needs arise there and then. And I think it's great when you have leaders who have faith in you, who empower you and enable you to do what you hopefully, feel you do best. So the most recent project we've done at the moment is we've gone into 20 schools and we did a survey on bullying and gender-based violence. Shamila, we sent over 3,000 surveys, 3,500 surveys to be exact, and it was soul destroying what came back in those surveys in these schools. So what we're doing now is we are actually training both the teachers and the ambassadors. We've identified 10 pilot schools because we found that children want to confide in somebody of their peer group or their age, which will act as the conduit to go and speak to that teacher, who will in turn hand the case over to the South African police force. But again, another pandemic, another thing that we all need to sort of, group together and say and take a stance against this, because this is not right, and it is not to be tolerated, and nobody should have to go through that. So that's the latest thing we're doing. And in turn, what we also found in our organization during COVID is that our employees are also affected by gender-based violence. And we found this out through a call, we have a call center called ICAS. And just the calls that come through there, even though they are anonymous, this is affecting people throughout all races, all, if you're rich, if you're poor, if you're old, if you're young, it is a problem in our country, and we need to do something about it. So this is what we've been doing recently, and especially in Women's Month, to take a stance against gender-based violence and bullying in the workplace. And gender-based violence is not necessarily sexual. It is any sort of bullying, any sort of, harassment as well. And there's all sorts of bullying, even though, a lot of the teenagers are getting the cyberbullying and that. So it is a big problem in our country, which needs to be taken very seriously.
For sure. Do you find it's easy for employees to talk about it?
So What we've actually done is we've established a Sheroes network, a Sheroes. So if somebody, part of the campaign is that you need to reach out. If you know of somebody who's going through something, and sometimes there are signs, reach out and try and help that person. And I mean, that differs. I mean, some people want to talk about it and others don't. We actually created this network. We created a WhatsApp SMS to identify ourselves as Sheroes in the different businesses. And if those employees do not want to talk about it, they can always, we've got this helpline where it will be totally, confidential. But we are trying to break the stigma and to encourage people to speak up against it and to know their rights and to not to tolerate this.
What great initiatives, Niki. Well done. You guys are doing
Thank
amazing
you.
work.
Thank you. Can only try.
Absolutely. Yes, keep on keeping on. Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
I think just to the woman out there, for me, there's been no elevator to success. You have to just sort of take the stairs. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty or be in touch. Know what's on the ground. For me, I go into the schools. Know what's happening out there. And also empower other women. It all starts with women. Let's be kind to each other. And I also think, I think it's quite good to always be accessible to people. I think you need to always treat everybody equally. And definitely stay fit and fabulous.
Wow. Empowered women, empower women, stay fit and fabulous. What a way to end the show. Thank you, Niki Cronje from Imperial, that shared so much of information today. Really, really looking forward to chatting to you again. Take care. All the best.
Thanks so much, Shamila, and thanks to all your listeners. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.